Tell me, who was Joseph Trammell?
Joseph Trammell was one of a number of free African Americans during the years before the Civil War. When the Civil War broke out, there were 4 million African Americans enslaved. There were another 800,000 in the North and the South who were free. Trammell was one of those people who gained his freedom in the 1850s, but because being free and being black was considered such an anomaly that they had to register. It was an attempt to control them. There was a fear that if the natural status for blacks were slavery, suddenly if you're free, is that going to call the natural status into question? So Trammell is set free in the 1850s, and the first thing he has to do is register to get his freedom papers.
So what does he keep in that little tin wallet?
Well, here's what happens. You get your freedom paper, and you realize that that's the key to your future, that without that paper, you can be enslaved again. So the key is to protect it and to keep it. So what he did was he realized that he had to go to work and carry it with him. So rather than let it get damaged by perspiration, he created what the family said was a handmade tin wallet that he put it in, and therefore it would protect it. And then whenever he came home, he would take it out, and he would then talk to the family about freedom and the importance of freedom.
And was there anything else in the tin wallet, or just that?
It was just that paper. That paper was so important because without that paper, he could have been taken away from his family. And the notion was, if you have that paper, you suddenly can be free.
How did the Smithsonian get its hands on this tin wallet?
Well, I tend to talk a lot. So what happened was that I began to
And thank goodness for that.
I pretend to go around the country and tell people about the collections that we were looking for, artifacts. And I knew that we wanted to tell the story of slavery and freedom, but I wasn't sure exactly how we do it. And they heard about me, the family heard that I was interested in this, and they reached out to us. And we talked to the family, and I'll be honest, when somebody said, you want to look at a tin wallet, I was thinking, what is that? But suddenly when I learned the whole story, the tenuous nature of freedom, the importance of a handmade wallet for the family, and the fact that the family kept it for 5 generations and then gave it to us. So for me, getting something like the Trammell papers was unbelievably humbling because it convinced me that we could find the stuff of history. Because remember, when this museum began, it had nothing, no collections at all. So the notion was, could we find the stuff of history? And when we got this document and this tin wallet, it convinced me that we could.
Are you done collecting?
Never. There's 2 things a museum always does: fundraise and collecting of objects. I think there are always things that you want to have, things that maybe would amplify a story or would be something that was special. I've always said, I sure wish I had Willie Mays' mitt. I don't have that. But I think that what we have more than anything else is now a relationship with people all over the country who recognize the importance of history, the importance of preserving that history, and the importance of the Smithsonian helping the public see the story. Because what's so powerful to me about the Trammell tin box is that the family thought a lot about, should they donate this? And then they realized that the story of Joseph Trammell was bigger than their family. It wasn't just a family story. It was a story about America and shaping all of America. And so in a way, what I love is that people recognize that the things that we think are small or modest really have a way to shape all the history that we touch. And that's what the Trammells did when they shared these collections with us.